no one's more resourceful than an addict. Right? But if they take that energy and put it into something, good. And you are the poster child for the same energy that you approach that addiction with, you are approaching your marriage with, your business with. Seeing everyone is valuable is the goal when you're dealing with youth, when you're dealing with addicts, because that agenda that you have as an addict to get high supersedes everything. People always say, well, religion. Yeah, I'm a religious guy. I'm a faith guy more than anything. And my faith is based in how I treat people, treating you the way that I want to be treated. Everything I do is in memory of my mom, the people I victimized, right? And God.
All right, cool. So welcome back to the Mindset Radio podcast. We are here with a special guest today, Alex Snow. Alex has an incredible story. We met recently. We've known each other for a long time, but we've started to get to know each other more as of late. He came to one of my meetings that I had when we were talking about opening up a sober home and a detox. He graciously came, gave his opinions, and we've been learning and talking ever since. So welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It really is. When you think of people that are trying to make an impact in the community, it's usually an impact geared more towards their agenda, their goals. But I see more and more you and Shane are trying to reach all different aspects of the community. Yeah. The business side, addiction, all the different things that you're trying to do. So I applaud both of you for that, because what you're doing can be very thankless, and you have to be doing it for the right reason. So
I enjoy doing it, and I think through my addiction, I believe, and I say it all the time, that I kind of feel like I'm here for a purpose, and maybe not a purpose, but I just feel like it's my obligation, and it feels good for me to give back to what was given to me freely.
Certainly.
Certainly. And that's it.
When you think of addiction and the amount of people it affects, your family, the community, if you're selling drugs, how that affects the community and many families, it's incumbent upon us, right, when we get it right, when we seek a higher power, when the universe brings us someone like it's brought you your wife, it's incumbent upon you to give that back. It's that same, I tell guys all the time that are addicts, I say, you have, no one's more resourceful than an addict, right? But if they take that energy and put it into something, good. And you are the poster child for the same energy that you approach that addiction with, you are approaching your marriage with, your business with, everybody that comes in contact with you. My prayer every morning, Mike, I got to be honest with you, is just let everyone I come in contact see his light, see the light, and if I can affect one person each day, then I feel as though I'm blessed and I'm doing what I was put here to do, because
that one person that's affected could go on and affect 10 different people.
100%.
It's an effect that you can have on people.
Correct.
That can make so much change.
Absolutely.
So who is Alex Snow? Tell me a little bit about your upbringing, where you were born, where you grew up, and what led you into the direction you're in right now.
You got the sleeping bags and everything. So Alex Snow is a young man that grew up in a household with 5 boys, single parent, just a mom, really. I had a stepdad, but he wasn't a good husband, probably a better father than a husband. So I saw a lot of things, and there was a lot of things I didn't have. I'll never forget being a kid and asking my mom. This woman took on a mortgage in Swansea, Mass, to get us out of South Providence, like the village. Took us out there, and I used to say all the time, Mom, well, why can't we have a mini bike? Or she said, it's on your brother and sister's backs and in their stomach. So I bring that up to say Alex Snow was formed, who I am today, and the body of work, both negative and positive, are a direct result of what I didn't have, having the single mom. Because if the father's not there, the streets become the father. And if the mom can't handle it, the police become the mom, right? So what we didn't have was an excuse for me to go out in the streets and get what mom couldn't give me. It was an excuse to circumvent every rule, to impose my will on others. 9th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. And so it cost me a lot. That was the lens. We talk to kids all the time, Kayla and I, about the lens you see life with. My lens growing up was a little bit bitter because mom's struggles, what I didn't have.
Was your dad around?
No, my dad wasn't around. I never even met. I met my biological dad one time. I was fighting at Lincoln Park Ballroom, Golden Gloves, with Vinny Paz was my trainer. And he came, and Vinny said, your father's outside. I went outside. I didn't see, because I didn't know who he was. That guy right there said he's your father. And instead of, talking to him and giving him a chance, my mindset was to lash out to him. I ended up swinging on him, and it just turned it.
Is he a big guy like
He
you?
was a big guy, 6'10". He wasn't a little guy, yeah.
Wow.
He wasn't a little guy, but Alex Snow was a guy that took the long route. I have a brother who grew up in the same house with me, had nothing with me. We had the same hunger pains. We had 2 pairs of jeans we shared, and I was bigger than him, so they were too big for him. But he didn't see what we didn't have as an excuse. He saw it as fuel. So my mantra to a lot of young kids is, you can tell me what you don't have, and I'll do my best. The Mikes of this world, Ciceronias of this world will also help me give you some of the things you need, but you have to see it as fuel. He saw it as, I'm going to get mom out of this. He didn't spend 30 years in prison. 30 years of my 61 years were spent in prison, Mike. And it's something that, I can never take back, but I know that there was a reason for it. But my brother spent 30 years on the state police, but we grew up in the same house.
So you have a brother that is a state police,
Yep.
now pastor, correct?
Pastor, and he's also the director of Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
So you guys went totally opposite directions.
Totally opposite directions. But and there's a backstory that a lot of people don't know. I've been on several podcasts, but I've never told this part. But I'm going to tell you. So at 8 years old, I wouldn't fight. My mom sent me to karate school to be able to defend myself. Unbeknownst to my mom, the karate instructor in Massachusetts, Fall River, New Bedford area, he was the head of the mob for organized crime. So instead of teaching me, he was grooming
In Providence?
me. Wow. In Massachusetts, Swansea, like the Seekonk line over there.
He was the instructor?
He was my martial arts instructor, but he was also, in his private life, he was involved in organized crime, making a ton of money. So here's this guy, the first male that really showed me love, or what I thought was love, would do anything for me. He was God to me. If he told me to jump from the peak of the roof of the house, I would ask him if he wanted a backflip or a swan dive. Because that was the first time. And this signifies why so many kids gravitate towards gangs, because it's a source of love. It's you belong to something.
Did you look up to it almost?
Oh, I looked up to
him.
Did
you look up to the crime, to the criminal life?
Of course. I think I was 14 or 15, and my mother found like 10 grand behind my dresser. And it's a whole nother podcast. We'll get into that. But I mean, this guy was sending me out of town to do his bid. He was grooming me from the age of 8 up until about 15, and to do that. So my lens that I saw life with, I justified my life of crime, Mike, as a bad guy to bad guys. I would never hurt your wife. I would never hurt you as a businessman. You as an addict was fair game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was playing the game.
Yeah, you were in the streets. You were doing all the underworld stuff. Mm-hmm. But I would never hurt your wife. And I wouldn't allow anybody around me to do that. Unlike today, where kids, there's no rules. Kids will shoot at people with their mom in the car and stuff. It's just different. But anyways, the way he groomed me to see people as objects and opportunities was a long road back from that. To seeing people, to seeing your wife, seeing a beautiful woman who has a story and family members, right? So I justified it as bad on bad. I only did bad things to bad people.
I think that's how I looked at things as well.
Sure.
When I was in the club, when I was in doing other things, I always looked at it as well. It's fair game. They know the rules.
Absolutely.
They're playing the game that I'm playing. Like, that's kind of what we all signed up for.
Yeah, and so for a more detailed description of that is when I'm talking to a parent or a parent and a kid. Kayla and I was speaking to them, and I say bad on bad. Do you know what that means? I'm like, no. So bad on bad is this. If we're both in a life, we're selling drugs, we're doing drugs, we're robbing, and I shoot you, whatever I did to you could have possibly happened to me, right? When I got sentenced, a judge said to me, he said, you both were living like animals. Mm-hmm. So it just happened to be you that it didn't happen to. Your wife makes a drop for Horizon tomorrow at an ATM. Somebody walks up and shoots her for that. It's a one-way crime. That can only happen to her. There's no chance she's going to do that.
That's something that they actually look at in court.
Oh, 100% judges look at that.
So when you got sentenced, they looked at it as two men that were in the streets that both knew what they were doing.
Correct.
And they looked at it as, and is that why they gave you so much time?
Well, no, they gave me a lot of time. They gave me as much time as they could.
Because what you did was kind of commendable.
In a way.
If you look at it, In
a way, but it's funny because I took a plea deal for my sentence because I was guilty. How do you know somebody's guilty? How does a policeman know somebody's guilty? We both get arrested. I've been living a life of crime.
You give up.
You just happen to be hit. I'm going to tell you exactly how. You put someone who's been living a life of crime, running, running from the law. You arrest them and put them in that cell. Within an hour, they sleep.
Sleeping, yeah.
Because it's over.
Yeah.
It's
relief.
over, finally, yes. How many times when you were rooted in the addiction, doing drugs, whatever, if you got arrested or whatever, it's like, whew.
Yeah, no, all the time. Every single cop car I've been in the back of, I was sleeping. Every single holding cell that I was in, I was sleeping.
Correct.
Until they came and physically said, Cicerone out, or sent me off to the ACI.
Because it's almost a relief. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing so people talk about, when did the light bulb come on for you, Alex? When did you relinquish this criminal thinking? Because don't forget, it was rooted in me and embedded in me since 8 years old.
And you brought that to prison with you.
Right to prison with me. And a lot of times when you bring that to prison, you become more of a super criminal because, one, you have to learn to defend yourself. Two, you're around other criminals with other criminalistic ideas. How many guys go to jail and they were like petty thieves and they come home and now they got these elaborate plans to...
Oh, 100%.
Wow. Yes,
New schemes.
It's crazy.
Good.
It's crazy.
New schemes,
That's why, my mom used to always say, my fear is you going there, because once you lose the fear of going, it becomes something else. But for me, again, who I am today is who my mom brought me in this world to be. Because we'll be at a school, 500 kids in the audience, and I'll say, who in this room, if they saw someone with a gun in their locker, would not say anything? And I'm not talking about Central and Classical. I'm talking about North Kingston. I'm talking about Coventry. I'm talking about LaSalle, Hendricken. Who would not say anything if they saw someone with a gun? How many? 80% of the kids raise their hand.
Yeah. Because they think it's
the
right thing to do?
For several reasons, Mike. So I'll go down the line and I'll say, okay, whoever's got their hand up, come up. I'll bring up. And when you do this, I could walk you into a room right now with 500 kids in it. You can tell me who the cool kids are, who the geeks are, who the kids that are being bullied and struggling socially are, kids with mental health. We, as adults, we know this. Mm-hmm. So I'll bring them up and I'll say, okay, I'll go down the line. Why wouldn't you say anything? Well, it's not my business. Okay. Retaliation. That's the one of the reasons that is actually a valid reason. I get that. I'm not a snitch. It's not my business. Okay, I'll go down and then I go back. I say, okay, a confused kid's going to classroom 101, right? Maybe he was embarrassed. His girlfriend left him. And in his mind, that sun is not going to come up tomorrow. But I'm here to tell you it always does, right? And there's nothing in the world worth hurting somebody else or yourself over. I go down like, who's going to 101? He's going to kill everybody in the class. Hardest part about what Kayla and I do and what you're going to find you're doing is getting a group of people that are rooted in addiction, that are whose brains aren't fully developed, youth with poor decision making, is to get them to see everyone as valuable. I guarantee you, your nieces and nephews see Uncle Mike, Auntie Shay, everybody in that circle is valuable. But when you can get them to see people outside of their circle as valuable, and now you're making change. I say, your mother's the teacher. Your sister's in the class. He's going to kill everybody in the class. Now, it is my business now. Snitching goes out the window, and you're not worried about retaliation. When I get to the last kid at the top of my voice, why is it that only your loved one counts? Show me the kid in this room, okay, whose mom carried them for 9 months. Greatest miracle. And anybody that sees it should believe in God, right? Show me everything you eat, she eats. Brings you in this world. More pain than we can understand as a man. This is from 5 gallons of grease in prison, because there's always somebody willing to go further. No matter how tough you are, how big you are, you can get in prison. Everybody eats 3 square meals, and everybody's in bed by 8:30, right? So more pain. I've been shot 3 times. More pain than even I know to bring you in this world. Show me the kid in here whose mom holds you up and says, I can't wait until you get killed by a confused kid. I can't wait till you go and put something in your body. You have no idea what it was that kills you. I can't wait till you grow up and take your own life. This is what we deal with every day. That kid doesn't exist. Even the worst person you know, Mike, think of the guy you know that was the deepest rooted in crime in the streets. Something happens to him. I know a guy that probably killed 5 people. When he got killed, his mother, oh, my baby,
Of course.
never did nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
There's always somebody that will be affected. And we don't think about
And
this.
friends.
Yes.
They always have friends too.
100%. And especially as addicts. When we're out there and you're chasing that drug and doing that, you're not thinking about how it's going to affect mom when they ring the doorbell. Right? And so that's the bigger part of, like, there is no bad on bad. There is no, everyone will be affected.
And going back to what you said is trying to get that people to see that everybody is equal, everybody is the same.
Friends like us, you'll say, it'll be a Saturday, beautiful Saturday, 90 degrees. And I'll say, one of your friends will say, let's go golfing, or let's go. And you're like, nah, I got to go to this sober house. Shay and I are going to. Come on, man. And they say it to me all the time. You're going to the training school? Yeah. I said, the kid I get through to may be the kid that doesn't do something, because especially Rhode Island, can't talk to somebody for 5 minutes without knowing 10 people they know. The kid we get through to, Mike, may be the kid that doesn't do something to his daughter at the mall.
Yeah.
Because we're all connected. Seeing everyone is valuable is the goal when you're dealing with youth, when you're dealing with addicts, because that agenda that you have as an addict to get high supersedes everything. Basic things that you were brought up with, washing up, eating, so it's strong.
Were you an addict when you were before?
No, I've never really an addict like that. I dabbled. I did, I did my stuff. I did the coke. I did the pills, but it wasn't. I was more monetarily driven.
Yeah, yeah.
It was never that. I mean, I did those things, and I seen a lot of people. I have brothers. I have friends that aren't here today.
What year was it when you were sentenced?
Which time? I mean,
for the 30 years, for the large stretch, for the big stretch.
99.
99.
99, end of 99, 2000.
So you didn't really. Was the opiate epidemic big in 99? Because it really didn't start coming around for me until like 20. Actually, it was right around that area. It was 2000s, 2001, 2002.
That's when they busted down the door with and at that time they were giving out the Vikes,
the 80s, like, the Oxy 80s,
early 80s, to 99. They started putting a clamp on it, but it was around big, but it was more the cocaine, and those different types of drugs. But I go back to like the late 70s. Seeing uncles overdose.
Heroin was big, right?
Yeah. But it was a different type of overdose, where they overdose, you could always bring them back. But today we're dealing with a whole nother monster. So.
Talk about what you were saying before we went live, the difference between poisoning and the difference between an overdose.
So the mantra that Kayla and I have, Instinctive Choices has, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention. So we're the town interventionists for North Kingstown. We work with young kids. Listen, no town in Rhode Island really has an active youth population that's seeking opioids, right? But we do have behaviors that are conducive one day to gravitating towards it, right? We do have associations, but so that town has taken a dynamic approach where they said, well, wait a minute, we're going to get in front of it, and we need someone that's been there, right? The education you got from the street, you probably owe the universe $500,000 because of what you learned throughout your addiction. You learned it through pain, but it's a big deal. But they created this interventionship for myself and Kayla to get in front of and be proactive with kids, recognize some behaviors that are conducive to that. And one of the big things we say, and I feel like we have to get it out there, Mike, we are calling a young person that smokes a weed vape and it's laced with fentanyl and they die. We're calling that an overdose. We're calling a college student up at URI who's...
We're calling that a poison, correct?
Yeah, well, yes, we're calling it an overdose, but that's the wrong label.
Right. Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Sorry.
It shouldn't be.
Yep.
It shouldn't be an overdose. And you got a college student that takes Adderall for the first time. Someone says, "Hey, I got some Adderall to help you study, help you focus, help you lock in," and it's laced with fentanyl. Someone finds them in their room, stiff as a board. That's not an overdose. That's a poisoning. An overdose is you and I sitting at your house. It doesn't have to be drugs. Drinking alcohol till we get alcohol poisoning. Too much of it. Consuming too much of something that you know what that something is.
You.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, you come to my house and I offer you a weed cart or something and I know it has fentanyl in it. I poisoned you. It's no different than you inviting me here to the podcast and putting rat poison in my drink and saying, "Drink up, Alex."
Now, are these towns treating that as that right now?
The Attorney General, they are so diligent about creating laws geared towards, and they just passed one where if you sell someone what's supposed to be coke or
Yep,
whatever,
I
and it
did see
has and
that,
it's
yeah.
fentanyl, there's a specific sentence for that. But it should be the same sentence as if I pulled a gun out and shot you.
But do you think that they're going to go into the extensive research and investigate deeply into that situation and find out why it was an overdose, how it was an overdose, and if it was either a poison or an overdose?
100%. So the Rick students that bought what they thought was cocaine.
Yeah.
They a lot of them overdosed, which should be called, a lot of them were poisoned.
You
But they
talking about when they
overdosed.
were all on the lawn?
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes. And they thought that they purchased one thing, but it was something else. It was fentanyl. That's a poisoning. And I know for a fact that law enforcement in the state of Rhode Island is looking at that now. So when you go, long gone are the days where you sell somebody something and it's semi-innocuous. When you say, okay, well, here's 3 grams of coke. You better know it's coke.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
better
for
know it's
real.
coke, because when you
You're
give it to
done.
them and they've texted you about it and meet me, hook up, you're the
Yeah,
plug.
yeah.
They're gonna go through every phone. They're gonna go through it all, find out who gave it to them, and you know you're gonna be charged with that.
And guys, for everybody listening, I just want to be very clear that there is no WhatsApp is traceable. All these Signal, all this stuff that they say is not traceable, they can find out exactly what's in your phone no matter what.
Snapchat doesn't disappear.
There's
They
nothing.
get it all.
Yeah,
they get
yeah,
it all.
yeah.
I'll never forget. When I came home from prison, and my wife at the time, who passed away, gave me the phone, the iPhone. I'm going 2 decades,
How was that? What was that like?
bro. It's to this day.
Did you have phones inside?
No. Well, there were phones inside. I didn't have one, for the record, but there were phones inside. I mean, it's 5 years if you get caught with a phone in maximum security prison.
Really?
Nothing to talk about.
Wait,
On-
5 years what? Extra?
Added.
Yeah, on your sentence. So if you're doing 10, they're gonna tack a 5 on that.
They actually do that?
Zero tolerance for it.
Wow.
Zero tolerance for
What?
it.
Then, so
How does that?
yeah, how do all these people get phones and they get away with it?
They're
Is it just
creating
different, maybe
social
different,
media.
different
Take the
prisons?
shot, and I think a lot of what we see on social media where guys are filming themselves cooking
Yeah.
in jail, that's not Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
You know, some places, Rhode Island was the
Probably
worst.
Florida.
Yeah, Rhode Island was the worst prison in the country, one of the worst. But they have complete control of that prison now. I mean, you guys are tough guys. It's called corrections for a reason. They got a place. They have a jail inside the jail. I'll never forget, and I say it all the time. And I'll just jump right to this. When I talked about the light bulb, when does it come on in your head
Yeah.
that you need to change, or that you were living the wrong way? What changed me was February 10th, 2006. I was painting the visiting room in maximum security. A lot of talented people in prison, Mike. I've met Michael Jordan's there. I've met nothing but wasted talent
Yeah,
there. So
yeah.
I'm a pretty accomplished artist. I'm painting the cartoons on the walls to desensitize for the kids. It's super traumatic. People think it's not a big deal, but to come in and see your dad, who's been in your life for 10 years, and then have to leave that prison and leave him there is a huge deal as far as mental health for a kid. So we paint stuff on the wall. They say, Alex, you got to visit. So the camera room was where I kept the paint, because in jail, guys will sniff paint, glue, they drink alcohol, rubbing alcohol, whatever. They're in their addiction at the height of it. So I put my paint in, and I can see the camera. And I can see my sister wheeling my mom in. It's snowing out. It's in February. Wheelchair. My mom had MS, and she was at the last stages of it. I can see them making my mom stand up out of the chair. They're checking her pockets. They're looking in her mouth, checking the wheelchair. And I turned to an officer that I went to school with that saw me go from the A student kid to this person that I'd become. And I said, look what they're doing to my mother. And I wasn't who I am today. So that was a dangerous space he was in, how he answered me. His name's Louis Tarone, and I'll never forget. He said, they're not doing it to your mother, Al. You've been doing it to her since the 6th grade. He said, where you are today, maximum security prison, isn't based on your love for your mother. Your choices should have been based on your love for your mother. That was the realest shit ever, Mike. Like, I looked at him.
Yeah, he could have
He's
said.
like, yeah, you can beat the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, bro. And it hit home, bro. I ran out of there, ran up to my cell. put on my Easter clothes, everyone has the nice sneakers. So from the age of 12 to 18, we cultivate the friends we need, Mike. Friends we need to text back and forth through our high school journey and college. Friends we need in the workplace. Hey, Mike, I need a job. Can you get this kid a job? And the way that you was living, and so was I, we were cultivating the friends we need in prison, right? Because everything we were doing was conducive to one day landing there, right? And the enemies we were making, snatching people's stuff and driving. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
So as I'm coming through the visiting room, every kid that I bullied other kids with, every kid that I cut classes with, it goes back that far. And it sounds cliche, but every one of those kids was right there with me. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. It's the truest statement in the world.
Yeah, that's true. When you walk into the ACI, the first thing you do is your head's on a swivel. You're
Yeah.
like, who's here? I need to know who's here.
Yeah.
And
to help me and who could be a problem.
100%, both sides.
You're real. So as I'm walking through, I'm dapping them up. I'm hugging their mothers because we've been doing this for a decade now. I get to my table and my mother says, "Where the hell do you think you are?" She goes, "I had holes in my shoes, but you and your brothers had new shoes." She said, "I worked 3 jobs, and my reward from you is you're the most popular person in hell. Because make no mistake about it, buddy. These guys, I can do time standing on my head. That's all nonsense. I cried myself to sleep over 2,000 nights. I lost track of the strip searches at 3,000. Everywhere you go, strip search, bang, cough them. Right? Most popular person in hell." I said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I love you." She said, "You didn't love me. You loved yourself. You cared about me." And that's a big thing Kayla and I speak to kids about.
Caring and loving.
There's a difference between loving your parents and caring about them.
Yep.
Taking the garbage out, being...
How do you switch that in somebody?
I think they have to see something. I think coming from the delivery from the right person, right? Because I've gotten through to 2,000 kids. You know who I can't get through to? My son, my grandson. Because your dad, your grandpa, you're supposed to say that.
Yeah.
But Mike comes in and tells them how the grip that addiction had on him, with tears in his eyes, and how lucky he is to be able to function socially in a relationship, and what God and the universe has given him since then. It may hit different with my, you understand?
Yeah.
So anyways, my mom sat there for about 5 minutes. She said, "I'm disgusted with you. You had everything. You had boxing, you had martial arts, you had football, you had every way.
Size, genetics.
God gave, yes. And this is what you chose." And my sister wheeled her out. 2 weeks later, they popped my cell door. And I say tough guy because I've had 3 badges in my life, Mike. The bullshit street tough guy badge, it's an illusion, right? The gangster and the tough guy's on the 20th floor of a high rise that gets to decide if your sick kid or mom can have an operation, if the insurance is going to cover it. You understand?
Yeah.
The tough guy's the guy that gets up every day and goes to work and honors his kids, his mom, his wife. So anyways, 3 badges. Tough guy, nonsense, the illusion, 65423 for 30 years of my life. That's my inmate number, right? And then there's this badge where I get ribbed from my friends. "Oh, you're working with the police now." No, I'm not working with the police, but I can walk into a prison and make change and affect somebody's life in a positive way. When someone wants to kill themselves, I walk in as a lifeline and tell them what God's done for me and that there's an easier way. So those 3 badges. But anyways, they said they want you down shift command. Shift command's never a good thing. It's usually someone died. They saw you smack that kid last night on camera and they're calling you down. They found your weapon in the yard because back then everyone had a weapon. Because when you're sleeping for 8 hours, you just said it. You said, "Hey guys," he said to you that they can trace what's... When you sleep for 8 hours, the state police, local police, they don't sleep. They work around the clock.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
They work around the clock. And so me, all the way down there, I'm thinking, is it a new charge? Am I never going home now? Me. And that's why I get to go in and talk to kids about being selfish, because I was the author of it. I'm walking down there, me. I got down there and they said something to me that at the height of my criminal thinking I never thought would be said to me. They said, "Hey, tough guy, the only person that gave a shit about you no matter what choice you made died last night. So strip. Your mom's dead and strip should never be in the same sentence, man. But when you work so hard to be him, When you buy into these rap songs and you have no regard for anything except what you want, this is par for the course. They stripped me, put my clothes back on. Now I'm in an audience with 500.
Why did they do that though? Why did they pick that day to do that?
Well, that's the day that was available to bring me
That was
to
just
see her
for
the last time,
yeah.
right? Because you're not going to the funeral while everybody's there. Highly charged situation, your family, someone's trying to. So normally there's one van that takes you to the funeral, but because I work so hard at being that guy, and I've had to work 10 times harder to undo it. And one poor choice will bring me right back to where I was, right? There's 2 vans, 3 vans. One with me and the COs, one with dogs. The investigators are there because it was right on Broad Street. We get to the funeral home now. Imagine 500 kids, and I didn't tell them about my brother. I said, when we get to the funeral home, why are there 10 state police cars there? Oh, so you don't escape. Society's taught us to focus on criminal and crime and not the victim. In this moment, right? I'm locked up. I got the time for what I did. People only think of the victims, the actual literal victims that we make. We don't think of what it does to our wife. We don't think of what it does to our mother or our brother. Here's a kid that had to walk into a police barracks while I was committing crimes, a state trooper's barracks. What did that look like for him? Mm-hmm. So, but anyways, I say, why are they for you? No, they're there to support my brother who never made a poor choice.
Oh yeah.
They dragged me out of the van, shackled like an animal. And they should have. I deserved every day I got. That's the one thing I do when I walk into an audience. So you're going to hear this is going to be sad. You're going to feel sorry for my mother. Feel sorry, more importantly, for the wake of victims that I left. Don't feel sorry for me.
So I want to just pause right there because I say that a lot too. I say, I don't want you to feel bad for me. Everything that I did, I had coming. And everything I'm dealing with now, I take responsibility for. And I had coming. But a lot of people will come back and say, no, you shouldn't look at it like that. Today's a new day. You shouldn't look back at and feel. I don't want to say feel sorry because I don't feel. You get what I'm trying to say?
I do.
A lot of people will say, let that go.
No. Well, I'll dive a little deeper into that. So I've got Broad Meadow, all those. You need to write a book because you went over state lines. Your book will have national appeal. I haven't written a book yet. You want to know why? And I'll never forget when I made Parole, they were like, let's do a special on you, because no one's the ladder or the meter for someone who was as deeply rooted as you was to a person you are today that understands the true meaning.
It's a very drastic change.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. He go, why not? And then the director at the time was like, almost to the point, like gave me the look, like, we'll take your parole. Why not? I said, because this is how mindful I am of victimization, Shay. Like, when you ask someone, what does it mean to victimize someone? It's to take their money, to beat them up? No. To take away their voice, their right, their choice, their say, and ultimately their life. And when you've done that, and you truly understand the depths of victimization, it's just a different lens. I said, me, no one else has a right to rip the healing process, the Band-Aid of healing, off of my victims by writing a book. You shot my brother, my sister, my son. You killed my brother, my sister, my son. You sold drugs to my brother, my son. And now you're famous for it because you get a book?
Yeah.
So I've abstained from writing a book because I'm mindful of the people that I victimized.
I can see that. I can also see the other side, though.
Yeah, 100%.
Of it helping a lot of people.
100%. My brother says to me all the time, you gave your pound of flesh. I said, is there really an amount of time? It's debatable.
Yeah.
Not only that, you save lives every day. You go out in the community and tirelessly work with these kids and work with their adults as well. Because working with a kid, most of the time, it's the parent that needs the mentoring and not the kid. So,
yeah, for real.
Well,
I mean, listen, that's how it got down to the kid.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I think of that's the stuff I don't do. But anyways, I walk into this funeral home and I see the casket. All the tough guy stuff went out the window. All that went out the window. This woman's gone. I walk up to the casket, shackled like this, Mike, and I say to an officer, I'm not taking those off. All you've done your whole life is impose your will on everybody. It's not no shot I'm taking those off. Plus the state police are here. I walk up to this casket. I can't touch her hand.
Damn.
Can't kiss her. I'm afraid I'm going to knock this casket over. That was the day. That was the day that I said, you know what? I have to do something. It's not enough just to... You know who Hugh Clements is?
No.
Oh, he was the old chief of police. They just gave him the job at Brown University.
Recently?
Yeah, after the shooting.
Why did they get
fired.
rid of...
they got rid of the guy that was there.
Yeah.
For whatever, that's their reasoning. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't debate on that. But they gave him the job. He was the chief of police in Providence. He was the one that dropped me off. He said to me, Alex, if you get another chance, you owe. It's not enough to come home and just be a good citizen. You need to come home and make change.
Yeah.
Use this story, and that stuck with me. And he's the guy that chased me around, right? And people all that. So when I do the stuff with defunding the police, and I do about that, I had 71 contacts with various local police and state police. Never laid a finger on me, and it had nothing to do with me being 6'5" and 300 pounds and a black belt. It had nothing to do with that. I understood the engagement, Mike. I knew I was doing dirt, and I knew it was their job to catch me.
Yeah.
Right?
I was the same way.
Yeah, so I conducted myself a certain way.
I respected him too. He was doing his job and I was doing my job.
Correct. And so now that I do it right and I do what I do in the community, they're my biggest fans.
Yeah.
They're my biggest fans because it was never personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought it was as a kid. I hate the cops. And a lot of what Kayla and I do is bridging that gap. And it's crazy because last Christmas, and even this Christmas, we were passing out presents with the police to kids and a young kid in housing. I said, hey, come here. Bro, I didn't do nothing. I said, the police aren't just for if you do something. Because I tell you what, when I got shot off of Broad Street down in Providence, I wasn't looking for my boys. I was looking for the police. People hate religion and they hate the cops. Till something bad happens, then it's, oh my God, where's the police?
Yeah, you get robbed, something happens. Yeah, that's what you're calling.
100%. So I was, at the end of the day, these are the guys that are behind me. But I was at that funeral for 4 minutes. They stuffed me back in the van, back to prison. It was just another day. It was Thursday, February 26, 2006 was the day I said, I am going to do something different. And I haven't wavered from that.
Really?
I've been through a lot since I've been home, all kind of adversity. But I don't allow it to deter me from what I'm doing. Like a lot of times people say, you showing up for these kids, everything you're going through? Yeah, because I wish I had me when I was 15, 14, 15, 16. My life would have been different.
Did you and your brother have a good relationship while you were in prison?
Oh, unbelievable relationship.
Really?
And I give
what
my
about
mom
when you were on
credit.
the streets before?
Yep.
Because he was a police officer. Correct?
Didn't like what I was doing.
Yeah.
Didn't approve of it. And I went out of my way not to put him in a situation where he had to interact with me through his profession. You understand? But no, he was...
Was he in the same town that you were running in?
Oh, well, state police are everywhere.
Oh, that's right, state police.
They do whatever you're doing, that's what they're doing.
Correct.
But no, he was right there for me, man.
Wow.
Right there for me. And I think no one's prouder of where I am today than him.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not where he is, and I'm not where I want to be, Mike, and that's a big thing I want to talk to you about. As far as you've come out of the muck and mire, the treacherous hole of addiction, the lens that you see others with as valuable that we just talked about, are you where you want to be, or you feel like there's a lot of work still?
No, I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. I just think that's in me. That's part of my DNA. That's part of, just like when I was an addict, I was never satisfied.
Yeah.
It's the same way. It's the same mindset.
But bigger.
Way bigger.
Yep. Do you think there's a finish line?
No.
There's no finish line to learning, growing.
No.
I definitely know more today than I did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right? And I try to impart that on kids. So, I know it. No, you don't know it all. I know more today. And when you think of Kayla and I doing the presentations together and interacting with kids, they're like, well, what are they getting from... I learned so much from this young lady. Like I said, when I came home and I was past this phone, I was trying to turn it on with the camera. Like, turning it on. And then going on social media, I was like, what is this? And my wife at the time was like, hey, jackass. You can't go back 3 years liking somebody's pictures with like Slurpee signs and all that. Because I had no clue. I was the worst.
Yeah,
bro.
I want to talk about. I think that just fascinates me, and probably a lot of other people. What was it like when you first put a phone in your hand?
So first of all, I do a lot with reentry, right? With guys especially guys that have served several decades, or life is so different today than it was in 1999, 2000. When I came home,
night and day.
Beginning of 16, yeah. So this fairy tale that I had where I was going to get out, they was going to release me, and my wife would be outside, and she'd come running to me. The Romeo and Juliet music's playing, and we run and we embrace, and I scoop her up and I spin around, not 2 times, but 3. And my good buddy, he's the head of probation and parole, who was with me, and the lady Pam Hughes. They came and got me. And by the way, there wasn't a dry eye in prison. I went from being the biggest pariah and the arch enemy in prison with the officers, and I had a lot of bookings and assaults, but there were never really any officers because, like I say, I had an understanding of what their job was, and I never took it personal. But there wasn't a dry eye
when you left.
When I left, and officers would say to me, "We lose today because this is a safer place with you here." That's how much my lens had changed.
Wow.
You know, I was the guy that if Shay was the block officer and someone catcalled her, because now you know what happens when they catcall her.
Yeah.
She's walking by doing a count, and everybody's, "Woo, you got a nice butt." What? Now you know what happens, right?
Yeah.
About 3 hours later, when everyone's locked in, they come in 60 deep.
Yeah.
They tear the block apart, take every little thing, and an extra pillow means a lot in there.
Yeah.
An extra pencil and pen, it means a lot. They take everything. No one gets to use the phone. So I was the guy that the next morning, after they catcalled her, as soon as your door buzzes, I'm in front of it. Mm-hmm. That's who I was. So it wasn't a dry eye.
What would you do?
Oh, I'm going to drag you all over that cell, bro. I didn't get the call home last night. I lost everything. That's a problem. That's a problem. And then the officer's probably going to be like, "Oh no, what's going on?" and look the other way. But that's who I was. But so they released me. I walk outside. My wife Kelly comes running up. Oh, back up. You don't get to hug him. So they scratched the record on us, bro.
Wait, why?
Because you're still in custody. You got to go over here and get your bracelet on over at the Dick's building.
Yep.
Walk around outside in the parking lot with nobody else until they get a signal.
Huh.
Come upstairs, sign your life away. You know, I tell kids all the time, you know, I'm like, they see me and, "Oh, you got it all together." No, I have struggles just like anybody else. But I gave my life to a system. I tell kids when I bring them to Superior Court, 6th District, this is the place where they send you to Mars, bro. Okay? They will send you to Mars. The one kid that shot the 7-year-old girl, shooting at the father and hit the 7-year-old girl. You remember that, Shay? She died. He shot the 7-year-old girl. And
How long ago was that?
What? 2 years ago? A year and a half ago?
Okay, yeah, I do know.
Yeah,
what you're
yeah.
talking
And so I'm an advocate for victims when they go through court because, you know, you could, someone does something to your family or Sheena's family, right? And they're at court jeering. The family members are jeering her after they took their loved one. So when I'm there, that's kind of a deterrent from doing that.
Yeah.
Don't do that, bro.
Yeah.
Don't do that because you'll make the old guy come out. Don't do that, right? And so I'm with the family in that capacity, the sheriffs and everything, and the family's jeering at the lady who lost her 7-year-old daughter. I don't give a crap what the father did. You knew that baby was in that car. You should have caught him when he was by himself.
Yeah.
Not that I condone any type of violence.
For sure.
But
there's a way,
that's not what it is, man.
Yeah.
I said, but since you guys are all hyped up, do you know what's going to happen next? The mother was like, "No, but my son, he's not." No, he is guilty. He's 100%. First of all, he's a convicted felon with a weapon, right? That makes you guilty, right? He gave away his right, just like I did. When you give your life to that system, you can't carry a gun. He's 17. He's going to get double life, 30 years on the first life sentence. Then they'll have a conversation about paroling him to the second one. But everybody's going to be reminded that he took a 7-year-old's life at that parole board. Maybe he gets paroled to the second one, and then they have to have so we're talking 60 years before there's a conversation about him coming home. He's 17. He has no kids. He's never been married. He really hasn't experienced life. Now, you tell me what was worth shooting in that car and killing that baby. Mm-hmm. Oh. And that's what I do with kids. Do you realize where you're headed? When you, a spare of the moment, or someone offends you or takes $500 from you and you do that?
Yeah.
So I'm big with the gun violence. I work with the AG's office with trying to help kids understand the gravity of those choices. But yeah, man, it's crazy, bro. Like, so let me touch on this before you move on a little bit. So I get released. I get in a car with my wife at the time, and we go to Social Security because I get a Social Security card because no one keeps all that stuff. The Social Security. How many times do you have to go get the birth certificate?
I just got a new one.
See,
today, yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
and this is stuff no one thinks of.
Yeah.
I'm in Social Security. There's like 40 people in there, bro. I break down crying. I'm like, "What's the matter?" I said, "I don't know." Like, even though there's 1,000 guys in medium security, I know every face. All these new faces and moving. Then we went to the mall. I'm standing in front of the door waiting for the door to open. She could open it because in jail every door opens.
Wow.
Every time I hear keys, I'm looking. The toilets in prison, you could flush 2 whole rolls of toilet paper down it. So imagine me on Thanksgiving going to someone's house. I got to take a dump, and I go in there and I'm doing this 100 times.
Those toilets
Oh,
are dangerous.
hey, the toilet's flooded. Just so many different things.
That don't happen in prison.
Yeah. So, and then the biggest one. Come home to the big king size bed. Where do you find me for the first 3 months?
Yeah.
In the closet.
Wow.
On the floor because
Really?
it was too much. And then I come home to North Kingstown. She ain't got no curtains. I'm like, what is this? Because I was the other guy on the other side of those curtains a lot of times. I said, no, I can't live. Like, let's go swimming at night. What? Have you lost your mind? I'm not getting in that pool. All the dark woods behind the until this day, I still struggle with
Anxiety.
and the residual effects from that.
Yeah.
How many guys, prison guards have the highest percentage of divorces. So I do a little class, and I talk to them about it. And they're like, why? So here's why. And you'll get this from being there. And even being in the streets, Mike. You get conditioned to speak a certain way. Everything's aggressive in there.
Yeah.
So I'm home, and I'm saying to my wife will say to me, why do you talk to me like that? I'm like, what? I just told you I love you. No, but it was, I love you. Don't you understand? Like, so
really hard. It's really hard to
so you
transition
have
that.
to undo all that aggression and learn to talk to people the right way. And I still struggle with that. Everything's respect in there. When you're in Dave's Market after you've been released after 20 years in
Somebody
prison.
bumps into
and
you.
somebody bumps into you, and the guy's got a Napoleon complex because we're big guys.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I'm looking at him like, I'm the Grim Reaper. Do you really? Are you serious right now? But they don't care. You can't put your hands on them. You have to bite that. You have to eat it. It's a tall task coming home after all that time, bro. And like I say, I still struggle with it, man.
Johnny says the same. You know Johnny Bart?
Of course.
Yeah, he said. I had him on recently, and what you're saying is the same things, man.
Bro,
there's no tough guys when you're doing 25, 30 years, even 10 years. There's no such thing as a tough guy.
So the cutoff for me is 5 calendar years. When you do 5, so like I say, I give a speech and I'll say, who's 20 in here? Nobody's 20. Who's 18? 17? So every birthday you've had, every Christmas, every summer, every winter, I spent them looking out of a 4-inch window. Wow. And I deserved it. But there was a part of my sentence that was high security, the 23 and 1.
How many years was that?
Like 2 years
was
straight.
The first 2?
On and off. No, it was actually at the first 2 I was fine because I wasn't indicted on the murder charge. I had other charges that they violated me on, so that's the trap too. Well, I got lucky. They gave me 6 years suspended and 6 years probation. That's the trap.
Yeah.
Because next time you do something, they're going to hold you on that and take their time on this and make sure.
Yep.
You understand?
Yep. That's what they
But
do.
so I was doing that, and then finally the indictment came down, and they said, "Oh, wait a minute, this guy's looking at forever."
Did you know the indictment was coming?
I knew the process was about
process
that
was
time.
coming, yeah.
And they were like, this guy's 6'5", 300, he lifts the whole gym. I'm doing skull crushes in the gym with 315. They were like, and ship him over there. Most guys are over in high security because they stabbed someone, assaulted an officer, a staff member. I was there just because I was Alex.
Yeah.
So, but
You used to work out with Todd, right?
Yes,
Chatel?
yes.
That's how I first met you back in the day. It was a long time ago.
Yep.
But I remember seeing you and being like, holy shit. I remember walking into the gym. I forget what gym it was. It might have been Gold's. What gym did you guys work at?
We worked out at Gold's for a little while. The one in North Kingstown, what's Renegade?
Renegade, yep.
Renegade, and then we would just pop into LA Fitness just to do
Might have
jokes.
been LA. Yeah, it was somewhere. I was like,
we would go in just to do jokes on people. So we
Yeah.
go in, and you got the young kids that are all on the juice and everything, struggling to get 405 or 315, and we'd start laughing. And like, what are you old guys laughing at?
yeah.
I'd be like, put the 315 on and drum it for 25.
Yeah, that's
and they'd
crazy.
be like, what the hell?
I think I got on 315 for 10 once.
That's big too, bro.
Yeah.
That's big too.
Yeah, but I was juicing back then.
Yeah.
That was that's 3 plates. Yeah, 3 plates.
Bro, I used to go in a yard on rec, 2 hours rec, about an hour and 50 minutes. There was 275 on one bench, the shoulder rack 275, and I would drum 275 for 20 the whole rec, like 20 sets of 20. Get up from that, go to the shoulders 20.
Yeah.
Then I didn't do 20 pull-ups. She was laughing at me the other day. I was doing like 10 on the pull-ups because I was 360.
10 is insane.
Yeah.
10 is insane.
But the lactic acid would
can't
build up.
even
But
do one,
that's
so.
just, bro. And here's the sicko part that a lot of guys, I don't know, a lot of guys might not tell you this. How many times I dream of being back,
being in there,
playing basketball.
Yeah, I have a lot of dreams of my past too.
Yeah, like I'm
actually
still
had one
in
last
it.
night.
Yeah, it's real. It's really real, man.
Yeah.
But you know, Mike, when you think of the incarceration, I think of everything, and you know, I get my buddies. Well, I had a bad day. I don't have a bad day. I have a bad 15 minutes, hour maybe. But I know how blessed I am, and you definitely. I know you know how blessed you are.
Yeah, I do.
At any given time, the universe could have took you.
Yeah.
With an overdose, or with you could have gave. There's just so many things. I am. So
I could have been killed. I could have killed somebody.
Yeah, something you can't take back.
When I left the club, because people were dying around me. We were at war with another club, and 4 of my friends died within like 2 months.
See?
And I remember sitting down in my living room, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let. And you know how those people found out? Our brothers walked up to them and said, "Hey, sorry, your dad passed away last night."
Imagine.
I said, I sat down and I said, I am not going to let one of these guys that I barely probably know from another house or from where, maybe even mine, walk up to my son and say, your dad's gone because he wanted to ride a bike and he wanted to be, part of something that didn't even matter.
And you know, Mike, that whole thing, all the bikes, the wise guys, that's all going anyway.
Yeah.
It's over. The party's over. There's cameras everywhere.
It's done.
It's
done.
It's over, man.
We saw somebody at the grocery store. Remember I was telling
Yeah.
you? It was part of another club that we had beef with. And I looked at Sheena and I said, you want to know something crazy right now? I said, if I was still active, that dude right now, right there, it would be on site with him.
Yeah.
I would drop what I'm doing.
Whenever,
and
wherever.
I will go start swinging on him. She was
Yeah.
like, what? I'm like, that's how it was. If we had orders to do, that was it.
Absolutely. And just think about someone having. She's got that kind of control over you right now, but that's a good control. But think about someone else being able to say, "Well, you go do this," putting a battery in your back, and you go do.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, crazy.
I see
crazy.
guys. I saw a guy maybe 2 years ago. I was in Dave's Market, and he was affiliated. I don't mention names or anything, but he was like, "Hey, bro, you've been home 9 years. You haven't called." Blah, blah. I said, "No, I haven't called." I said, "But you just got your new finger sewed on, right? So, because you couldn't dial my number or whatever." So, anyways, he was like, "Nah, bro, come on, let me get your number." So I said, "For what, man?" I said, "I'm useless to you. I don't see people as objects and opportunities." I said, "I have no value to you." I said, "But furthermore," and I didn't know that my dear friend, the ex-chief of police, was standing behind me in line. I said, "And more importantly, what's not going to happen is..." And we spoke about it when we're sleeping there working. You're not going to call me and talk about something innocuous that has nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah, then you get tied in.
And because Mike, one of the biker guys can call you tomorrow and actually be asking you for for stuff pertaining to your business. But if they're on him and they want him, they can make that conversation whatever they want to make
Yeah,
it.
they could turn that duck work into.
You was asking for kilos. You was asking for so. I said, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He was mad in that moment. He was like, wow. But then he told somebody 2 weeks later, he says, I've never been more proud of that guy. His yes is his yes and his no is his no.
Yeah.
I have no value to you, bro. I'm not that guy. I don't allow people to call me Bam because Bam's gone. I'm Alex, man. Right? And I care about everybody. You understand? So at the end of the day, I want for you what I want for my brother. I want for your wife what I want for my wife. Understand? So, and it's a simple thing. People always say, well, religion. Yeah, I'm a religious guy. I'm a faith guy more than anything. And my faith is based in how I treat people, treating you the way that I want to be treated, right? I'm the guy that sees somebody stuck in the snow and I get out and push. Kayla said to me, well, a couple months back, do you have to help everybody? Yeah. Do you really have to get out and help everybody? I said, but what if it was you? Sitting on the side of the road, I want someone to get out and push that car for you, out of traffic, instead of beeping at you and that's just who I am. That's the way I live my life, and I look at my transformation almost like a savings, Mike. I won't compromise it. I don't want to be the guy that circumvents the rule. I won't compromise it. I had a buddy call me one time, and we used to do like all the robberies and all. It's terrible. Oh, bro, I know where there's. I said, this one's on me. I said, don't call me asking me about that. Right? If you care about me, don't call me with that.
What do you mean? He was calling you asking?
To go do like a robbery.
Oh, recently?
I said, no, a couple years back. I said, I don't live my life that way, bro. I don't live my life that way.
Why did he think that you did?
Well, he knew he wasn't
He just
privy
knew
to my
the old you?
transformation. He just knew the old man. And let me tell you this, and I'm sure you've ran into this. The old Mike is useful, because that guy upstairs, he doesn't waste anything, my brother. He don't waste anything. How many times have Kayla and I went to the house and they're saying, well, the uncle's giving him the drugs, but he's a semi-tough guy, and he nothing you say is going to get through to him, until Bam shows up at the door.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and he's like, oh, please. And he leaves and never comes back. And they're like, what happened? That's this guy. That's God using who I was.
Yeah.
Because he's not privy to that I'm a different guy. I'm not going to hurt anybody unless I'm defending myself or somebody I love. I can never hurt somebody for money. I can never do any of those things, man. I'm just not wired that way. And I'm grateful that, you know, he allowed me to rewire me in a way that I think that way, man. But it's useful. I guarantee you, if you haven't already, you're going to run into a situation in business where the guy's like, I'm not paying, or being crazy. I'm not doing it. All he knows is Biker Mike. And when he shows up, because, you know, it's funny because guys will have their girl, will embed in their girl that they're the toughest person in the world. Oh, no, you don't know my boyfriend. He's crazy. Well, when he meets someone that really was actually crazy, that goes out the window.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. Like,
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
oh, I can't believe oh, you're not going to do anything? No, because that's who I was pretending to be.
Yeah.
That's really him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Listen, you know somebody like that.
Yeah.
You know somebody like that.
Yeah, like abusing. So when I do the work with family court and I'm being abused or battered women or whatever, well, you know, my husband, he's crazy. He was in prison and stuff. And then this lady doesn't even know about my past, really. All she knows is this guy that's trying to help her, and that's a good guy. And I'll be like, yeah, well, what's his name? And she'll say his name. And I know that this guy was in jail, like being gay and everything. So now he's home. He's a tough guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I said, yeah, let me talk to him. I don't think that's going to work. As a matter of fact, I don't even got to talk to him. Let him know that your mentor is Alex.
Bring up my name.
And then the lady said to me next time, she goes, who are you that he reacted that way? He literally started shaking. I said, well, that's who I was. I said, but God don't waste anything.
Yeah.
I said, so, you know, but yeah, it's useful. It's useful, man.
How did you and Kayla meet?
So, that's a story everybody wants to know.
Let's get it out there.
Obviously because of her age, being younger, and, you know, like, it's opposites kind of attracted. And so, ironically, the first time Kayla ever saw me, I came to her school and gave a presentation on bullying, bridging the gap with law enforcement and stuff like that. And, you know, you do these presentations, you do the sober houses, whatever. Some people you affect, some people aren't ready, and it's just, and she happened to be around some other kids that were just laughing, not paying attention, and she was like, how can you not pay attention when this guy is saying where his choices led him, and that he gave his loyalty to the streets, his friends, everybody except who he should have gave it to, his mother. And it affected her deeply.
Were you going through some stuff?
I was. I
Yeah.
mean, I was suicidal at the time. Like, I was doing some suicidal, like, you know, cutting, whatever. But, like, yeah, I mean, I was, like, around, like, kids that were laughing. I mean, like, now I understand it. Like, I kind of talk about it. I'm like, even if it doesn't relate to you now, it can relate to you down the road. Like,
planting the seeds.
it's just, like, you never know when it's going to hit you, you know? But, like, yeah, like, back in 2018, I heard his story, and, like, I was literally sobbing in my seat. Like, I went back to my class, like, didn't really talk to anybody, just kind of silent the rest of the day, like, and then I went home, and it was just, like, I was always just, like, going up to my room, doing whatever I want, you know, like, but, like, it was just, like, I think it was a couple months after, like, I mean, a couple months before I heard his speech that, like, I was really dark, like, in a dark moment. I wanted to kill myself. Like, I didn't really see, like, what was the point, you know, like, so, like, one day I was in my room just in complete darkness, and I was like, you know, today's the day, like, it's gonna happen, like, not that, like, I planned it or whatever, you know, but, like, something in the moment just came over me. It said, you're not done. Like, you got something else to do, like, you got a purpose in this world. So I went downstairs bawling my eyes out. I went to my parents, and I was like, I just tried to kill myself. Like, I need help. Like, what do I do? But they, like, as a kid, like, asking for help, you have no clue what your parent's going to say. Like, you have so much fear going into it. But, like, now, like, I talk to kids. I'm a huge advocate for asking for help. Like, just ask for the help. Like, if
'Cause
the
it's
person
out
that,
there.
like, the first person that you go to, like, you don't get the reaction that you want, go to the next person. Like, there's always somebody that's going to help you.
And keep going and keep going. So after that, we had no contact. I was, doing my thing. I'm in all the schools doing whatever. I walk into a convenience store near my house, and she's in there, but I don't know her. She recognizes me. She let me come in a couple times first. I came in, bought something. Big lottery guy. I'm buying my tickets. So I got the mojo. I'm gonna win the Powerball. And she was like, "Yeah, did you win yet?" I was like, "Nah." I said, "But if I do hit," and so I always give the cashier 10%. She was like, "Yeah, whatever." I hit for like $5,000 or something.
No way.
I came in. I said, "Here's the." I told you. She was like, "Really? Really? A man that actually keeps his word? That's amazing."
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." So boom, we just got to know each other, and then my wife got sick, and as she was getting sick, I'm going through it. I come in and she could see what it was doing to me. I mean, I watched this woman go down to 60 pounds, bro. I watched her cancer. And if you don't understand, from the colon to the liver.
Did it just come out of nowhere?
Oh, wow.
Not one symptom, bro.
Ugh.
October 2023, we were swimming in the pool, about to close the pool. Going back and forth. She was kicking my ass, of course, in the laps. Next day, she was like, "Oh, I got a pain." All right, well, Gas X. We tried everything, Pepto, whatever. 3 days later, it's unbearable. She goes in. Bad news, Alex. And my friend was the head of medicine, Dr.
old was
Qureshi. She
Dr.
was,
Qureshi, I know Dr. Qureshi.
Yeah, dermatologist.
Yeah.
It's one of my dear friends.
Really?
Man. Yeah, so he's the head of medicine for that. So they tell me
How old is she, sorry?
57. They tell me at Kent, she's got stage 4 cancer in the liver from the colon. And she's probably got 2 years, And so I went to Dr. Qureshi. Doctors are the worst, but they're the best because he said he loves me. He was like, "Listen, I'm not going to, listen, she don't got 6 months, man. Stage 4, and then he read the tumor markers and stuff like that, which I think everyone should get, especially after you turn 50, everyone should get a tumor marker every couple of years. But you can't even get one, bro, unless oncologist or
recommendation
or ER. Yeah. Your primary can't give you one, which would have told you. I was like, what? How? I didn't see one symptom. No lost weight, no appetite loss, nothing. And then, well, I'm not going to say Dr. Qureshi told me, but a doctor told me since COVID, they've never seen so many stage 4 diagnoses with no symptoms, no nothing. Because as much as the shots, the vaccine kills COVID, it does other things. So it's ambiguous now.
Did she get the shot?
Yeah. And but anyways, I'm going through that whole process, and that's a whole nother podcast because I want to do that with you because the one of the saddest things I ever saw was during her decline going to the fusion center for the chemo, women that were by themselves going through that process. And I know, listen, my day started at 4 a.m. I get up, get her to the bathroom, she brush her teeth, she got to sit down for 20 minutes. And I clean the whole house because she was a maniac, so am I, with the neat freak. I clean the house because hospice is coming, but I never let hospice do anything but take her blood pressure. I did everything, bro. That's a whole nother podcast. Yeah, seeing these women by themselves.
We'll do it. You'll be a regular, bro. We'll do it.
Sheena, knowing what it took for me to be there for her, and it was still overwhelming. Imagine a woman by herself going through it. But anyways, that process has got me like living out of my skin, other than myself. But I would. My piece was I'd go in and play my little numbers, and sit there, and she would come over and talk to me, and then she was like, "If you ever need anything, blah blah blah." So she would always check on me after Kelly passed. I would just nothing going on between us, just there for me, like making me eat.
Yeah.
Listen, you got to keep this message going. You and Kelly created this foundation to help these kids. She's looking down, man. Your mom's looking down. Because everything I do is in memory of my mom, the people I victimized, right? And God. That's why I do what I do. So that's why I don't waver from it. It's not a conditional thing. As long as the wind's blowing just right for me and the sun's out, I do it no matter what, bro.
Yeah.
Because that's a commitment that I made, and I don't waver from it. But anyways, we became tighter and tighter, and over time, she started doing the stuff with me, and, the universe took its course.
That's awesome.
I felt deeply in love with her. She loves me, and, we just...
So you guys both work this together.
Oh.
Yeah.
You guys both have a goal.
I'm a lot more like behind the scenes, but
So
Wait a minute.
A lot of the admin
Wait a minute.
stuff.
And Sheena, I'm sure I'm lost without it, bro. 'Cause
Yeah, me too.
The admin part of
100%,
it, the
100%.
admin part of it, the because we use trackers to quantify
And the
results.
support. The
Support.
support's the biggest thing.
Because guess what, man? You need that. The biggest fan and biggest supporter, you
Yeah.
need that because for every guy that loves what Mike's doing, know that there's 4 hating on it.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Know that behind the scene.
Oh, we
Can't
do.
stand it. They want to throw up blood when they see you succeed.
Yeah.
Know that. And the only thing that can keep you grounded and inoculate you and vaccinate you from that is what you have with your wife,
Yeah.
man. Because
Yeah.
you close that door, and she said this to me the other day. She was 23 years old, but she said, you know, it was funny. I used to worry about what other people, when they close their door, they're only worried about what's going on in there. No one cares, man. Nobody cares. When you shut the door, oh, don't get me wrong. You have certain friends that if you call them, they'll be there for you. But at the end of the day, nothing's more important than when you close the door with this woman and making sure that's okay. Because now, as long as that's okay, you can do the other things to help people. But if that's not okay, you know, so that's how we met, man. And I mean, like I say, I get judged because of it and everything, you know. But you know, at the end of the day, I know that you have to protect your happiness and your peace from other people because no one really wants to see you happy. You know, people, especially people that are in mental health or struggling emotionally, whatever. Misery loves company, man. So it's a tough thing, but yeah, she's my rock, man. I don't know if I am where I am because I got to be honest with you. That old man was surfacing because in my mind, how's this woman that would do anything for anybody, never hurt a soul? And I don't question God, but I had to know what's the math on this, man. I know people that are the worst people in the world, healthy as a horse, nothing ever happens.
Yeah,
And
I say it all the time.
Yeah,
You
and then-
motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
For real.
and then there were people that were like calling me all the time. Hey, bro, and I'm like, bro, just leave me alone. Like, I don't want to talk. First of all, you weren't tight with her like that. And you know, one thing she said to me, she goes, if I had one piece of advice to you 2 months before she passed, she said, the one thing I wish I had back were those conversations, meaningless, nothing conversations that I had with people. I'd give anything for those conversations back. It'd probably be an extra year on my life. She said, but don't allow. So one guy, and we both know him, and I'll tell you his name after, but he was like calling me like, that was his way, because I've never let him in, but that was his way, like trying to use the sympathy of her passing. Really? And then finally, one day, we were in front of a bunch of people, and some of them were law enforcement. And I was emotional. I was all over the place. I said, listen, man, I tried to tell you, tried nicely. I'm looking for somebody to blame for this, right? Because I'm not going to lie to you, man. I was like, it's almost like, I said, do you want to be that person? He was like, oh, God, no. He almost threw up. He was like, please, no. Please, no. I said, yeah, because, come on, man. You know?
God, no.
At the end of the day, it don't cost you a penny to leave me alone, bro. You know? And it's funny. It's funny how short life is, Mike. And you think of the things that are important right now. God in heaven, please forbid you get a bad news about this woman. None of it matters.
I know.
None of it matters.
I can't imagine.
And you know, it's funny because you don't have things in place, right? I'm a huge advocate for people that are older,
You mean like
your
life insurance
age and
and
up.
stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the trust, all that. I hadn't. So here I sit with a master's degree.
Do you have any investments or anything like that?
So I had all of that, but I didn't think I needed to. So I like I say, I have a master's degree, but I'm sitting here with
What do you have a master's degree in?
behavioral science, adolescent brain. Well, that part of it I'm still working on, but I was a functional illiterate when it came to death and what takes place. I thought it was like TV, like a soap opera. I die, I leave everything to Mike, and no.
Yeah. What did you thought? You thought it was just a simple piece
Yeah,
of...
no. There's the executor of the state. There's the trust. There's all these different things where people can come in, and you'll be surprised.
They'll take it from you if you're not.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared.
So she was the president of Honda for a long time. Big money, right?
No shit.
And then she lost that. She got sick. Things happened. She ended up losing that job. Whatever. So things weren't like it was. I was keeping the ship afloat. But here comes everybody out of the woodwork. Well, what are we doing with this? What are we doing? Where were you when they was ready to foreclose for the taxes on the house?
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah,
ago.
where were you?
Yeah.
The things I had to do to keep things afloat, right? I said, but it's just everyone has their hand out. No one allows you. And if grief has a gender, it's a woman. Because here's what happened. I tried to work it off, tried to work out, tried to stay busy, and all the grief would do was sit there and look at me. And then when I settled down, the grief would say, are you finished? You ready to deal with me yet? Because I'm going to be here. No matter what you do, I will be here, and you're going to have to deal with me. And case in point, that's where Kayla came in, man, because I was in a dark place, bro. I was struggling. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell.
Which is beautiful because Kayla, no matter how old you are, you've already experienced that dark place. So that's why you had that light to give to him.
100%.
It's incredible.
Oh, beautiful.
It is
Well
beautiful.
said. Bravo. Yeah. Bravo, man. You know, because at the end of the day, bro, I look at like-minded people. So the meeting you had where we officially linked and bonded. Mm-hmm. I met your wife. I met some other great people there. I sat and listened. If you remember, I went last. I sat and I listened to what everyone felt or figures is their treasure or what they bring to the table.
That was a great meeting, wasn't it?
It was a good meeting. It was a good meeting. And unfortunately, Caleb suffers from migraines.
I had got a migraine.
Oh, those are the worst.
Hey, so let me tell you about the migraines. I'm like, all right, you got a headache. Suck it up and toughen up.
Have you had one?
Rub some dirt on it. No, I never had one, but
Oh.
that was my philosophy. I never said it
Yeah.
out, but I'm looking at it like, well, how bad can it be, bro? Like, really? We got to go. And then when I really researched it and really saw it, bro.
Yeah, they're debilitating. I've had 2 in my life, and thank God that was all I've had.
Bro.
Horrible.
Yeah, no, I know.
Horrible.
And
Like,
they don't go away.
I wouldn't even wish it on like my worst enemy.
No,
like
no.
that's how bad it is.
You're
Like,
functionless.
It's
You
so
can't
bad.
even talk.
Give me a
You ever had one,
earache,
Ash?
all of them together.
Dude, they're no joke.
Yeah, give me
joke.
all the stuff, other stuff. Don't give me that.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
The
man.
pain behind your eyes.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. And I get like the aura migraines. Like it's not just a regular migraine. So like my eyesight. So like I'll start like see like a black
close
light.
in, right?
Yeah.
It goes like
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
And I could tell you and your wife are locked in, like you know each other.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Most guys aren't present.
How can
in
you
their
tell? How
relationship.
can you tell,
Bro?
I hear that a lot, and
Bro.
I'm just, how can you
I
guys?
saw you
tell?
guys talking in that meeting without saying a word to each other. Like somebody would say something, or you was getting ready to say something, she hit you with that glare,
Yeah.
and you was like, yeah, so, yeah. Even in the videos you do that are supposed to be funny, right?
Yeah.
But
I
the
laugh
things,
at every single one of your videos. I
the,
love them.
the things that you insinuate to, like I said, my favorite one, Sheena, was you texted him and said, "Hey, I thought I asked you to take this garbage out, bro."
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But there was also a bunch of dishes in the sink. So he stood his ground. He stood on it, but he was saying, that's a joke. But there's something to that, and that's a healthy thing.
A lot of the videos we make too, where I'll say this, they are complete bullshit. Like we do them because we know they're going to get
course,
numbers. You know what I mean?
of course.
But a lot of
They are
them,
very relatable.
a lot of them are very relatable to
They
our
speak
lives.
to a mindset.
Yeah.
They speak to a mindset. You're supposed to respect your woman in a way where if you talk junk back to her, and I'm nervous because when I go home, they might be on and popping. So that's a healthy thing to put out there.
One of the things that she does too, if we're in a business meeting and I'm saying the wrong thing, or if I'm not sitting up, certain things, I can just feel her put her hand here.
Saw it that day.
Or if I'm doing this a lot, I have a habit of doing this when I'm in a meeting.
Yep.
She'll just be like, "All right," and I know, and I lock in a little bit, we do.
I can tell, bro.
We do, for sure.
I lived a lot of life, man, and I'm alive because of vibes and knowing people and seeing what's what. Like Kayla and I have little things that we do.
Yeah.
And I think you guys can appreciate this. A lot of people go over a lot of people's head. If Kayla was somewhere, or I came home, and she's in the house, and there's strangers there, and I walk in and I say, "You good?" She'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good." But if she touches the left side of her face, she's not good.
Yeah.
Like even if I just go like this.
Right
whatever,
is right.
whatever.
Right is always right. Left is wrong. After you good, touch the left side of her face. Yeah, I'm good, baby. I know this is off. This is off.
Is that a code, or do you
It's like a
know that
code.
she does that?
No, that's a code.
Got
We
it.
created because we live in a sick world, bro.
Yeah.
We live in a sick world. We go somewhere or something, she sees something, and she also knows if we go somewhere, like if you were at the movies and you saw something, but you really couldn't speak on it, and you said, "Sheena, let's go."
Yeah.
Is she gonna grab your hand and just go, or be like, "What do you mean,
No,
let's go? We
she's-
just got here."
she would go, yeah.
It could be the difference between life and death.
Yeah.
I see something that I can't speak on. You got to trust that. Let's go, and vice versa. And this is something that my wife taught me. Like, a woman knows who's your friend. Don't get me wrong. You got some possessive women that don't want anybody to be around you.
Yeah.
But if you got a healthy relationship and a woman that loves you, is confident in you,
There you go. That's
they
not
know.
That's not a healthy
Yeah,
relationship.
they
You got
know
that going
if
on.
somebody's your friend or not. Because if we're somewhere together and you introduce me to you just met me and we're vibing or whatever, and you walk out of the room and I look at her a certain way, she knows that I'm not your friend, bro.
Yeah.
You know, when she speaks up to that, you can chalk it up to, oh, she just doesn't want me. No. If she don't like you, bro, you probably ain't got a shot with me, because that's who I lay my head down with, bro.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that trust is through it has to be important. It has to be important, man, you know.
What are a couple of things that people can do in this community that want to help and don't know where to start?
Any type of charity starts at home, right? The cleaner your house is, the more time you have to help someone else clean their house. And I don't mean clean as far as like spick and span. I mean clean as far as like truth, honesty, compassion, empathy at home. Because now what that means is those are all reps. If you're the most compassionate and loving and emotionally connected as you can be at home, when you go out in the streets, it's easy. But if at home you can't even show compassion or whatever, there's no shot of you helping anybody else. You could put on when you meet somebody for the first time, for the first month, you're meeting their representative anyway, right? You're not meeting them.
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months, at least 3 months.
Psychology
Yeah.
says a year.
So
Yep.
so I say a month because I can see through the bullshit kind of quicker than most people. So in a month, I'll know. Probably in a week. But so if someone really wants to help, look at the people around you. Look at your next door neighbor, the lady that's 90 years old, that's struggling, and her yard looks bad. And start small with that, and then you can work your way. As far as like helping me, as far as Instinctive Choices goes, there isn't a lot anyone can do other than just like support. We do a lot with, like, a lot of what we do is personalized. You know what I mean? So like, for instance, I have a young man that got the bright idea to pick a gun up because he was mad. Shotgun. Went down the street and just shot it up in the air. Shotgun. So I asked him, how far does that shotgun go? He was like, I don't know, 50 yards, 50 feet. I was like, no. I said, when that bullet goes up in the air, is it going to stay up in the air? Does it go to the moon? Or does it come down on top of somebody's house or their car or in the yard? And then I help him understand the gravity of that choice, right? So it's a lot of it's personalized. You know, at this time of year, you actually helped me. At this time of year, we do a lot with kids, with presents. Listen, here's a big part of what we do. Sheena, if you got a nephew that's acting out in school and you're like, Alex, I don't know why this kid's acting like this. And I come in and sit with him. And I look at him, I say, what's going on, man? Because like I say, Jesus wasn't a prophet in his hometown. He was Mary's son. So you may not be able to get through to your loved ones. You may not be able to. But the guy that comes in, or the girl that comes in and has tears in her eyes saying, you know, I thought about hurting myself, and I'm so grateful I didn't. The guy like me that comes in with a scar on his face, has been through hell and breaks down crying. No, I wish I gave my loyalty to my mother. I feel like a sucker for giving it to the streets and my friends. Right? So if a kid's hungry, math and science are not important.
Yeah.
So we have the thing with Stop and Shop in different places where my brother, Antonio, who runs Reaching the Harvest, huge, does so much in the community. We go get food and give it to them. Now we take that off the table. If their clothes aren't right and they're being clowned in school, all right, let's get you some gear, and then we can figure out what's going on. Because
Is that just North Kingston that you?
no, I
do everywhere,
all
right?
over.
Have you
But
done
North-
Hendricken?
I've been to Hendricken, but Hendricken is the type of school where it's religion-based. And ironically, I give God all the credit for where I am, for bringing Kayla in my life, what I've been through, what I was able to overcome. I give God all the credit for that, right? It's all of him and none of me. Every time I give a presentation, I pray, I say, hide me behind your wings, God. Use me as a vehicle and allow me to say what is needed to say to touch these people and let them know your glory. But anyways, that's a whole different thing. But Hendricken is religion-based, so they want it to be religion, but you can't mix church and state. And church and state really isn't me or you going and saying how God...
But is what you're doing considered church? Oh, no, because what you're is considered state?
Yeah, state. It's
Oh,
considered
okay.
state, but I can't give a speech without saying what God's done for me. It's an impossibility. He's the only reason I'm where I am.
True.
You understand?
Yeah.
I'm gone or worse. But so
the reason why I ask is we have the principal coming on in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah,
So I can
yeah.
always-
That would be great if
Yeah.
you know, just let them know what we do, and I'm coming in, especially a school like Hendricken, because people always think it's the South Providence schools and Pawtucket schools that need it. Most of those kids don't have money to go buy recreational drugs.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to help mom put food on the table. You get a kid from Hendricken whose father's well off and he's got everything and he's bored. Those are the kids that you got to worry about buying the vapes and buying or trying a synthetic drug that might be laced with fentanyl. That's where you really need it.
Do you know about the 70H now?
No.
No. So I can't believe more people don't know about this.
It's good. I'm happy to hear that not a lot of people know, but
Yeah.
it's still a threat out
So,
there.
a new synthetic drug, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, tell the story about 70H.
So it's a derivative of kratom, or some people say kratom.
I know of that.
And so they've made a way to make it more potent, and it's like similar to morphine. And this
boy.
is something you can buy over the counter.
You can buy them at smoke shops. You can buy them at
Really?
anywhere,
Yeah,
gas
and
stations.
they're only like $15 per
Really?
packet.
So
of
listen,
3.
I bought
Smoke,
some.
ingest.
it's-
What do you do?
You
chew
chew
it.
them. It's a
Ingest, okay.
chewable tablet. And I don't even like really talk. We said this last time.
So we were at the gym, and I pulled my back out, and I was sitting in the ER. I'm a veteran, so I was in the VA ER. And it takes hours and hours. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
it's
you know
tough.
how it is. And we called a friend, and the friend was like, actually, you know, I've got something that will help that's way better than anything you can get at the hospital. Just go get some kratom and mix it with Motrin. And the combination between the two, your back should be better.
And we did our research. We
We
looked up
did.
kratom. It's a natural leaf. It's very
Because I'm
common.
very
It's-
holistic and into
it's a holistic
homeopathic
approach,
stuff,
and
yeah.
that's kind of how we were tricked into this whole thing.
So the kratom worked incredible, and I have a slip disc. So for something, a plant, an herb, and when you take it, it tastes disgusting. It's definitely a plant. But it worked. Within 3 days, I was able to walk again.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I was like, this stuff's incredible. But the person that told us about it said, listen, I just have to give you a forewarning. Even though it's natural, it's highly addictive. And we're like, well, that's weird. And I don't
way?
have an addictive personality, so I used it until I could walk, and then that was that. I pulled my back again, and I asked him to go get some kratom, and I think that's when we discovered the 70H.
Yep.
And totally different. I took half a tablet and couldn't stand up. It was incredible. It's
So was it like a psych drug?
It's an
feeling?
opiate.
Yeah.
I took
I
took
don't-
one,
yeah.
and I got like I had to actually stop taking them because again we didn't. You know, the addict side of me knew it was wrong. I was telling her the whole time.
He
this
looked
isn't
at me and he said,
this is
isn't
bad.
good.
This is bad.
This
This
isn't
isn't
good."
right. This isn't right. And you know, we ended up kicking him. Well, I did. She didn't take him that long. I took him for a couple weeks.
I didn't take it after that half a pill. I knew my body said no. I was vomiting. It
And you
was
bought
not
this
the
over the
same
counter?
as the kratom.
You buy them at
liquid.
gas
It's
stations,
totally
smoke
different.
shops.
Wow.
But
That's
here's
crazy.
so here's the
It
point,
is
right?
scary.
And I talk about this stuff because I don't want anybody to get mixed up with this stuff, or if they see their kids with it, to understand that it's not just product that
OTC.
it's not just an over the
Yeah,
counter.
yep.
It is morphine. It is an opiate, and people can die from it. It shuts down your liver. It shuts down your kidneys. It gives you effects that'll affect. You know, it's very bad
And
stuff.
it's highly addictive.
Yeah, text me that name of
Yeah,
that because
we
Please,
will.
please put some awareness behind
yeah,
that.
I definitely will.
Because it's I'm very surprised that more people haven't heard about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You said to her, "This isn't right." That's why I never did heroin. I tried a match head of heroin. I think I was 18, and it gave me a feeling. I didn't give a shit about nothing. I felt invincible. That feeling, I said, "This isn't right.
Yeah.
This isn't right," and I've never touched it. Someone said, "What do you mean?" I said, "But the feeling that I had was
Too good- too
yeah,
good?
reckless abandon. I
Yeah.
just didn't care."
Yeah.
I said, "That's not for me. I'm not. I never like."
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so it is crazy because I attributed kratom to a good thing, but now it's almost demonized because the 70H, which is also a derivative of kratom and natural. It's just two different. It's two different potencies.
What they do is they synthesize the kratom, they put it through production 1,000 times to make that much, and that much. So you get a tab. That's what they're doing. But I think they're putting more stuff in
Refining
there.
it.
I
Sure.
think it's definitely something more.
It's gotta be.
The immediate thing that screams to me with that is, this is what we see all the time. This is the quickest way a young person ODs is they'll try something. And I think Caleb spoke to me one time about mushrooms like this, and they take it and it didn't hit them yet.
Yeah.
Yes,
And they take
That's
more.
what I've done.
And then you take
And then
more.
they
I
take
literally
more.
took like maybe like this much, took it like 30 minutes, nothing.
Yeah,
And I
30
was
minutes.
like,
isn't
this is
working.
nothing.
Yeah.
They gave me more. I said, still don't fail anything. I walked into a gas station.
Hit her like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
that's and
completely,
that
like,
708.
magic
That's what
carpet.
that sounds like. You take
I was
it.
flying somewhere else.
Can
in the
you?
world.
Is that TV working? Can you pull up if there's been any deaths for 7OH yet? Because there has to be. I know that there's a big influencer on YouTube and Instagram right now that's trying to put more awareness on it, and he's bringing this to Congress, and he's bringing this to different.
Well, I'm going to start with Rhode Island. I'm going to talk to my guys at the AG's
So
office.
it's illegal in Rhode Island,
Is
but
it?
you can get it right across the border in Attleboro,
Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
No, you can get it in
or-
Providence at the smoke shop in Providence.
You can get the pills.
Yes.
Too, the 708.
Yes.
Well, okay, so it's supposed to be illegal.
Okay, so multiple deaths have been linked to the use of concentrated synthetic 7-hydroxymitragynine. 7OH is a product particularly in Los Angeles County in Montana as of late 2025. This is why it's brand new. The substance is unregulated, and health officials strongly caution against its use. Los Angeles County public health officials have linked 6 fatal overdoses to synthetic 7OH products as of October 2025.
That's
And I
crazy.
promise you guys that number is way off.
It's
And
way
I
off,
promise you
definitely.
that it's
No.
hundreds. I promise you that it's hundreds.
Tens have
That's
probably
crazy.
been affected
Yeah,
by that since we've been
thousands.
doing this.
Scary.
Since we've been doing this podcast.
Yes,
Like
yes,
every
yes,
minute, it's evolving.
Yep.
the
Because
number.
the thing is it's so addictive. Nobody knows how to get off of it, and
So
and
addictive
so
and
you
so
have to keep
accessible.
taking it. Yeah, because you feel sick.
That was
if
the
you're,
problem.
and then
my
it
goodness.
just pushes your tolerance, and this is what happens. It's very scary.
And a kid can buy it. That's
And a kid
Yeah,
could buy
that's
it.
crazy
it's
that
not even
so
illegal like a
accessible to
cigarette. You
anybody.
can't buy a cigarette or
Yeah.
liquor, but you can go buy that.
Yeah,
That's crazy, man.
unreal.
Yeah, thanks for putting me
Yeah.
on that. 7OH.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, listen, Alex, thank you for coming on the podcast,
My
man.
pleasure,
I
man.
really appreciate
Anything,
it.
yep,
I have so
and-
much love for you, man.
Yeah,
Respect.
same here, bro.
And,
Same here. And anything that's current, that's going on. Like I did a small thing with the brown shooter, like right away. It was just like a Zoom thing, and I was talking to a guy, and he was like, "Oh, what's your take on it?" I said, "Bro, I've studied more than most about shootings because that's my biggest thing. See something, say something. Weapons in school. We're tired of turning the TV on, seeing kids run for their lives, and that's why I said, who would say something? But anyways, I said this is not normal. I said most active shooters like that either die from the police or kill themselves. And he was like, "Well, do you think he's was random or so?" And still to this day, I say there was a connection to those 2 students he killed. Rather it be their parents, because the guy in Mass, he had a connection to that guy. He went to school with him and everything. Why would you stop off in Providence, do that, and take a chance of getting caught and not going to do what your objective was?
Yeah.
As much as he had a connection with that guy up there, he had a connection with the people here. And I'm sure that'll come out in the end. But
Yes.
yeah, but anything that's current, reach out, bro. I'm here for you. And I would
Yeah,
love
please.
to do one on grief. And then
resentments. I think I'm big into resentments and
y'all, resentments are huge.
Yeah.
Revenge. I
Revenge.
do a lot at the
Yeah.
Institute for Nonviolence about
Yeah.
that. Because I ran into the guy that actually threw this grease on me.
You did.
Yeah, he was bullying another kid. And I said, "Oh, what are you doing?"
in prison.
Yeah. He was Cuban, young white kid that I went to school. I knew his father. So I'm going to look out for him. I said, "Stop bullying that kid." He poured sour milk on him, smacked him around. I said, "Don't do that again." So dude was like, guys from other countries like that have a different motive too. Like, there's nothing I could do to him. Castro hadn't already did to him. So
Right.
you got to be careful. So,
Right,
but anyways,
right.
he was like, "You think no one will see you, huh? You think like no one, I'm a big boy too." I was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I ended up breaking his collarbone, like beat the living crap out of him. This guy walked around for
Casually.
6 months. Sheena, he walked around for 6 months with the broken thing. The police, the CO said, "We know Snow did that to you." He was like, "Nah, he didn't touch me. I fell down the stairs." He stood tall. 6 months he walked around me with the casket on, putting his head down. like a little Chinese wife. Like, and then 2 weeks before he threw the grease on me, he said something to me. He said, Alejandro, and I kind of like in Spanish. He goes, from your feet to the top of your head, you're taller than me. He said, but from the top of my head to the ceiling, which is 40 feet in max, from the top of my head to the ceiling, I'm taller than you. I said, bro, if you don't get away from me with that weird shit, beat your ass again, right? So he walked away. I thought nothing of it. But what was he saying to me when he said that?
Honestly, I'm just thinking that. I don't know.
I'm a man just like you are.
Okay.
And I'm going to get you. So I'm 6'5", 360 pounds, jacked. I'm sitting there eating. I used to sit at a table by myself. No one sat with me at the end. I seen him he was pouring, the white paint buckets?
Yeah.
He had one of those full of grease.
Damn.
Right from the fryer lid. It was melting that bucket. That's how hot it
He was
was.
in the kitchen?
Yeah, he was in the kitchen, but he was pouring like the juice into the thing so you can get it. They put it in that coffee. I didn't think I'm invincible. 21 years old. I'm at the top of my I'm thinking a knife in jail. Anybody that came at me with a knife, I was gonna plant it in their forehead. So not a big. But I didn't think of that grease.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I heard him say, "Hey, bam." And when I looked up, the grease was already in the air. I went to get up. My legs were so big, I hit the table and fell back down. The grease landed on me. Right here is, back then we wore street clothes.
Yeah.
So I had I had a windbreaker with a thermal on. You could still see the thermal marks where it melted.
Oh my gosh.
It got stuck to your skin?
Oh, blisters hanging like this. So kids say, I know you must have, because who you was then, I know you must have beat this. I said, I'd love to sit here and tell you that. I stood up to go after him, and my computer said,
"No,
the hospital's that way,
Yeah.
brother."
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
that was just hanging. So I went, and the biggest part about that wasn't even the burn initially. It's when you get burned, the healing, where they got to scrape the dead skin off with the scalpel.
I'm prior surgery, so
See,
it smells. It's a different type of smell when your skin's rotten.
I was screaming so loud on that ward.
Yeah.
All the old ladies would come and bring me food. Now I'm locked up too, so now I'm shackled to the bed. And it was just.
Did you stayed in the hospital?
I was in the hospital for 3 months, bro.
Really?
From that, yeah. So fast forward.
In the prison hospital? Or
Rhode Island Hospital.
Island, yeah, that's right. They
but
have
the
a
prison
wing,
guard out front.
Yeah.
And they were like, you everyone was like, you can sue us. I'm not suing.
Sue
but
what?
how do you walk out of the kitchen with 5 gallons of hot grease
True.
into the dining room? And he had a butcher knife on him, but he was so afraid of me, he didn't come after me with the butcher knife.
So, yeah, true.
So now check it out. Fast forward, they separate us. On my whole bed, he was still in there when I came home, because at that time I was doing 6 years, not 35. I came home, went back, he was still there. I had to go to high school. That was another reason I had to go to high security, because he was already in medium. He was there first. But anyways, fast forward, I came home about 5 years ago. I've saved 2,000 kids. How many do you think I couldn't save? 10,000.
Yeah.
I'm outside. They're too deeply rooted, whatever. But I don't give up on them, and they love me because I fed their families. You understand? Yeah. So I'm with 3 of them. They got the straps on them and everything, and we're in front of Kodak because every morning my first call is to see if it's my color for a piss test. Right? I don't get to drink, smoke. Well, I got a weed card now, so they allow me to. I don't smoke. I take gummies, but I gave my life to that system. That's another thing we need to talk about. Once you give it to them, it's not yours anymore. My life isn't my own. So anyways, I'm in front of Kodak waiting to go in to take my piss test. And who goes strolling in? And 2 of the kids, one of them was older. He was like, yo, Unc, ain't that the dude that threw that grease on you? I was like, yeah. They were like, oh, boy. I was like, no. This is like, we're not looking for your permission. I was like, nah, bro, nah. I said, if you care about me, don't do that. It was like, are you serious? You're a shell of what you used to be. I said, yeah, you can say all that all you want, bro.
How long ago was this?
About 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I said, nah.
How long have you been out now?
10 years.
10 years.
So anyways, I go and when I give speeches, I say, who did I help by letting him off the hook? Oh, you helped him. Okay, that's how you see it. But see, this is how I see it.
You helped yourself.
Yeah, of course, because, Mike, this time I saw him and I was with my soldiers. What about next time I'm with her and I don't see him and he sees me?
Yeah.
But he's still afraid of me, obviously, and shoots the car up. I walked into the Kodak and I seen him. He's like, oh, bro. I said, nah, we're good, bro. I forgive you, man. I said, we're not going to go to Patriot games and break bread together, and you probably should stay out of my way. I said, but I forgive you, man. He started crying. He was like, bro, I worry every day because I know all these young boys, the shooters, love you. I said, nah, we're good. I saved those kids because, like I said, you get away with nothing. There's cameras all around there in Cranston, right, from going to jail. I practice what I preach, right, about forgiveness. I saved myself because next time it could be him seeing me. I'm with my niece, my granddaughter, Kayla, whatever. He could have got at me. It's just more violence begets more violence. But I do a lot of forgiveness about that. So that's the other thing: revenge, forgiveness, regret.
Yeah,
So
we'll do another podcast. We'll do some current events.
Yep.
I think, yeah, man. Let's make this a regular thing.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? Social media.
Social media, my Alex G. Snow, Facebook. I don't do a lot on social media, like I say, because it goes back to, and sitting here with you guys talking about it.
You need to have someone that, like when we first met, right? I think a big part of why we were able to grow so fast is because everywhere I went, she was recording. Everywhere I went, and even if I didn't know she was recording, she was recording.
Well, those are some of the best videos,
and that's some of the best stuff.
Yeah, yep.
So we really were able to get a lot of good raw footage together
Yeah.
that really garnered our original audience.
Yeah, so if you go on YouTube, there's some stuff on there, me giving speeches, stuff like small, like kind of a scared straight thing, which isn't really what I do. It's more informational.
Yeah.
And reaching someone emotionally, but I definitely am going to do more of that.
Yeah.
But I'm on there, but I don't do a lot because it goes back to, like I said, it's not that the reasoning that I do what I do, but it does need to be out there. A lot of the things that I say, like little 30-second clips like you do, could probably help a lot of people.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to work on that, but
Yep.
yeah, man, but sitting here with you talking, and it's kind of resonating with me that, it's time.
It is.
It's time. I think I'm not doing the community a service by worrying
Keeping
about
it.
yeah.
And bro, it helps you too.
Oh, it's cleansing.
It's
It helps you
so
too.
Cleansing is hell.
therapeutic.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
So the first couple times when I really made Kayla get up there and she's doing her thing, she broke down crying, talking about her situation. At the end, she was like, I just want to go home later. I said, yeah, I told you. When
Your
I'm done with those
energy, yeah.
speeches, I
Social
feel like I fought
battery,
Mike
yeah.
Tyson with a
Yeah.
bag over my head.
Yeah.
Because it's so draining. But the drain, it's like a workout. When you leave the gym, but it's beneficial.
Yeah.
It is cleansing.
I would love
But
to.
okay, brother.
I would love to speak to, man. Any engagement.
Oh,
any
so the
events?
21st.
21st.
The one from I think it was the 16th, got moved to the 21st
Yep.
at Juanita Sanchez. I'd love for both of you to come.
Yeah.
And we
I would love that.
and just talk about your addiction, where you are today.
Yeah.
And just the lens that you see
Absolutely.
your life through now. So
I would love that, man. Alex
Right.
Snow, thank you very much for
thank
coming
you,
on.
thank you.
Absolutely.
All right,
And to,
thank you,
to our
guys.
guy, thank you. I appreciate you, man. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, guys. Thank you very much.
Perfect.